Because you didn't just lay out everything that happened. What you said was he just went up to a random Asian person and started yelling konnichiwa in his face.
Okay, if you don't want to say racially insensitive, racist, culturally insensitive.
I point blank laid it out in my video for everybody who actually wants to listen. You can call it culturally insensitive. I use my words properly. Just let me use the words and listen to them and say, this is right, and just go ahead and use them yourself. Don't use nigga though. Use culturally insensitive like I did.
Can I go off on a little bit of a obfuscation here for a second? How are things with you and Destiny?
I gotta go though because I have some conversation with some guy that's really trying to argue that I show Speed is racist, even though he was not racist at all in that dang clip. So I gotta have this conversation with some nigga from YouTube.
It's kind of racist.
A little racist.
What does racist mean? Really quickly, let me just ask. What does racist mean?
Well, it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah,
the word you're looking for is culturally insensitive, and that's what I keep trying to explain to people. It's not racist at all. It's culturally insensitive. I went on to give the example. I live in Southern California. If I'm talking to some Hispanic person and I start assuming that he's Mexican and I'm using words like grama or something like that, and then he's like, "Oh, I don't use that word." What? Why? Because I'm El Salvadorian. Oh, I thought you were Mexican. Does that make me racist? No. Does it make me ignorant? Possibly. Does it make me culturally insensitive? Probably. But that's not racist. There's a very big difference. Can you say it's offensive to say konnichiwa to a Chinese person? Sure, because they're not the same thing, and so you're making it that assumption.
I don't think that was the part that people were thinking it was racist. Because I mean, it's perfectly fine to see an Asian person maybe think they're Japanese, especially if you're not familiar with Asian people. You may not be able to know the distinct differences between Chinese people and Japanese people.
Sure.
But then I think it was like the ching chong.
Yeah, because I'm Chinese. He said
that was like really immature. And
sure.
I think that what people are calling racist.
I do agree with you, though.
Here's the deal.
But yes,
in order for something
that was culturally insensitive.
There you go. Because I was going to say, in order for something to be racist, it needs to mean that you believe that one person is inferior, right? That racists create these distinct things, and one is superior and inferior. Nothing from that interaction would indicate that this guy thought that Asians were inferior. Yeah. Nothing that you could get, even if you wanted to stretch it as far as you freaking could, right? So at the end of the day, all you can get is culturally insensitive. People jumping to the racism thing don't know what the freak they're talking about.
The reason why I would say racist got now for some, even though I don't think this is a good thing, is kind of
the definition of it.
Colloquially means it's like a blanket for all those type of things, like like cultural sensitivity, prejudice stuff. All that stuff is all racist now.
That is unfortunately that is the colloquial usage for racist.
When other people use it, that's when other people use it, because black people use racist to actually mean racist, because there was literally codified inferiority and superiority and the intention to act out these things and create those distinctions in that way. That's why we always use racist, and this is why I always use the word about oppression appropriation, where everybody else wants to pretend that they're oppressed and then start trying to equivocate or make these things equalize these things. When you had those idiots on Twitter talking about, Karen is really as bad as the N-word. And it's like, you're willing to say Karen, but you're not willing to say the N-word. It's really as bad, right? Well, when you start saying things like calling a woman a B is as bad as someone calling you an N-word. And it's like, no, you obviously know that these things are not the same. Clearly, right? Or the whole saltine. Saltine is as bad as the N-word. And it's like, no. I know you know better, right? We all recognize that there's a difference between these things because of what it actually meant, what resides in the hearts of a large portion of Americans who still are completely ignorant about how they are perpetuating the harms that are currently affecting black people. That's why we talk about systemic racism, because it's always been aimed at black people. So to me, when people start trying to talk about racism, I'm gonna get real specific when you start talking about niggas, because I'm not gonna let you appropriate that and start trying to use that and weaponize that against other niggas who are clearly maybe being insensitive, a young kid that maybe just didn't understand the difference between Japanese and Chinese folks fully. I'll give you all that. Racist? Nah, you reaching. Freak out of here.
Well, I think that like there has been even within black, I think all people have like sort of colloquially use a lot of words incorrectly. Like people say that that Candace Owens. They're like, oh, Candace Owens, she's like racist toward black people. And I'm like, I understand the idea that you're trying to get across, but like, I mean, she is black. Like the word would be she uses anti-blackness, which is 100%. But
and she's a bigot. I think she's a bigot. She hates black folks.
but I don't think
Ruckus.
I don't think that she considers herself to be inferior.
Female form.
I think she thinks she's
female Uncle Ruckus.
She doesn't consider herself to be inferior. She considers the rest of black people to be inferior. She thinks she's an outlier.
Yeah.
So she holds those racist views.
She got
so you would use the word racist for Candace.
Sure, I would say a bit bigoted if you would prefer. But yeah, I think she stereotypes basically on race that black people are this way, and they are this way because of their own fault and because of their own selves. She does not think that it's because of systemic oppression. If we can currently see these outcomes and she dismisses all systemic oppression and says that it doesn't exist right now, that means in order for these outcomes to continue to perpetuate themselves, means that we have to be doing it to ourselves. If there are no outside forces causing it, that means that you have to have a racist view. Because if nothing is causing it but black people are doing it, then you're saying black people are doing it to themselves because of their own innate responses, and so then that would be racist.
Well, she doesn't say her logic isn't that there's nothing causing it. She's saying that Democrats are causing it. Like Democrat policies are causing it. Like, oh, they're
perpetuating a victim mentality. Yeah, I can't, bro. I hear you though. Listen, I love y'all.
And there's also the whole idea with the whole on the plantation thing too.
Yeah.
Like black people are still mentally on their plantation, so we can perpetuate the systems that impress us ourselves and that blah blah blah.
That's a line I somewhat agree with. Anyway, but yeah, I love y'all. There is some truth.
That's a spitting. But yeah, have a good conversation. I'll
have a good one.
All right, man. Peace out. Okay, listen, join the Discord, bro. Exclamation point Discord. We can go over this real quick. It shouldn't take that long. I think we'll probably come to an agreement really, really, really fast. I'm hoping. I think you got a brain. Seem like you type well. I mean, look at your YouTube comments and the comments in here and the people you are chatting to. Come on, man. You're just trying to obfuscate by making a definition distinction. You can't say it was a racist action, yet speed isn't racist. I never said it was a racist action. That's where the difference comes in. I hope you join the Discord. Let me go ahead and just go into waiting rooms. You can join. What's up, buddy?
Hey, what's up, man?
Okay, so the clip. You said that he said it again and again after he was told he was Japanese, but he didn't, right?
Are you getting echo?
Huh? What'd you say? Oh yeah, you got to close my stream.
I had to mute your Twitch.
Yeah. So the scene said you said that he said over and over again after he was told.
Yeah, didn't I edit that comment though?
Yeah, you did edit it afterwards because originally you said he said it 3 times after he told he was Japanese, and you know that he didn't. He only said it one time.
Yeah, once.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then that one time
I edited that comment though before I sent it.
Nope. You sent it regular first. You edited it after you sent it.
Well, like a couple seconds after. Yeah.
But I don't. That's the way I saw it originally. I had to go back and see it, and then I realized, oh wait, this isn't what he said before.
Well, yeah, because I went back and checked the clip, and then he said it twice. The dude corrected him, and then he said it once again after that.
Right. So it seems.
Konnichiwa wasn't even the weird part.
Okay, so then let's deal with it section by section, so we can agree then the Konnichiwa part isn't racist, right?
No, not racist, but a little weird. But
is it particularly weird?
I mean, do you think it was?
No.
You don't think so? You think he just wanted to say hi?
Sure. What else do you think he was trying to do? The second, he was like.
I mean, now let me put it in context. Wait. Knowing Speed, you think he was just trying to walk up and say hi?
I don't know him, but what I can say is from the video, this is what happened. He called the guy over and attempted to speak to him in basic English, didn't he?
Yeah.
And then the guy said English, no, meaning that he didn't speak English, right?
Yeah.
And then he responded by saying konnichiwa twice, right?
Yes.
Then the guy said, no, not Chinese, right?
Yeah.
And then he responded one more time and said, konnichiwa, Argentina.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy says, not Japanese, Chinese.
Yeah.
And then he said that weird phrase.
That weird phrase. Yeah, that's the worst part about it, by the way.
It's the only part about it, because everything else there was nothing offensive about any of it.
Fine. I'll grant you that. You can the konnichiwa thing. There's a gray area there where if you think he was trying to be funny or whatever, it's weird. If you think he was just trying to say hi, that's fine. I'm not going to fight you on that.
Okay.
It's the main weird things about it is, I mean, we can go through it like step by step of the video if you want, but the two main weird points are the Bing Chong Ching Chong or whatever the fuck you said, and the weird apology video after that. Just do you think?
I don't care about his apology video because like all
did you watch it?
I did. All I'm trying to watch.
Well, I mean, what do you think about it?
I don't. Hold on. Before we move on to an apology video, right? You said we can go through this step by step, and where I just thought I did go through it step by step, and like stopped at each step to ask you if I had it correct so far. So it seems like step by step it was. He called a guy over, wanted to speak to him in English, blah blah blah. We already walked through all those steps, and then at the very end he made that weird phrase, and then afterwards the video stops. I'm sorry. After he makes the weird phrase, the guy who he was talking to laughs, and then the video stops. Right?
Yeah.
Now, the guy that was talking to him recognized that he was making a video, right?
I assume.
He was looking directly at the camera at some points.
Yeah.
Right? So he probably
or a live or something like that.
Yeah, right, like a live or a video or whatever. A live is a video. But yes, so the guy obviously recognized that he was on camera, realized that like what he was doing, right? So to me, and then the guy laughed when he said what he said, the last thing. So to me, it seems like it wasn't even particularly offensive to that guy. The guy, even as he was getting loud with him back, also had a bit of a smile on his face when he was saying, "No, not Japanese," because he wasn't offended. He recognized it's just like a silly interaction with some random black dude in some crazy country that neither one of us are from, and so on and so forth, right? Like there wasn't this. It wasn't something that he was looking at as particularly offensive. At least that's what it looked like to me.
I'm sure he wasn't. I mean, has he said anything about it afterwards? I have no idea. I don't know.
I have no idea either. But in that moment, he didn't look like it. And so it seems like, and the only way the thing that we can do now is if we start adding on details to make it worse, right? Like if we add on the detail that, no, the guy said it, told him he was Japanese, then he said it 3 times. Or if you add on the detail that the guy was offended maybe afterwards and had some different reaction. Or if you add, like that's the only thing or you try to add in, like, well, let's try to make sure that the apology video, like if you start looking and trying to find other context, that's where you can get to it. Because this action in and of itself
is directly related, right?
But I don't care about the apology video. My point being, and the reason why I don't care about the apology video is because it seems like the only way you guys can get to this is racist, negative, malintended, or any of those other things is if you start trying to add in details, right? Because you were accusing me of trying to obfuscate. You tried to accuse me of trying to obfuscate, and what I did was I'm only focusing on the thing itself. Well, it's not obfuscation to define the word that you're. It's not obfuscation to define the word that you're trying to label him with. It's not obfuscation to point out this is not racist, right?
I mean, yeah. If you want to use one of the 16 definitions of racism,
16. There's only 3 in Merriam-Webster.
Huh?
There's only 3 in Merriam-Webster. None of which say the thing that you're talking about.
And then in the other guy's Oxford, there's more.
That guy's a liar. He didn't have access to Oxford Dictionary. You see, I always have these conversations. He's a liar because I'm sorry. The first definition that he said was something that was made up off the top of his head that wasn't found in Oxford. Secondly, none of us have access to Oxford unless we pay money. So what typically people do is when you want to use a dictionary to define things so that people don't subscribe to their proprietary definitions, then they normally start appealing to a different dictionary because they don't want to concede that they're trying to use a word incorrectly. And then typically what they do is they do go to Oxford. Why? Because you can't prove it, because they don't have access to Oxford and neither do you. I'm not paying money to Oxford when we have access to Merriam-Webster. He lied. He didn't have access to Oxford. He made it up off the top of his freaking head. He didn't have access to that. So he lied. I don't care. He lied. I'm telling you right now, he lied. So don't go telling me something else he said unless you're agreeing with me that he lied. And if you're agreeing with me that he lied and that he didn't have access to Oxford Dictionary, that wasn't an actual Oxford definition that he was giving me, then why does it matter what he's saying?
Okay. What I was going to say is I didn't read his comment before that. I read the comment about he said I googled the definition of racism. The first thing that pops up is Merriam-Webster. Right. The first thing that pops up is Oxford.
He's a liar.
I just did it, and Oxford doesn't pop up anywhere. So
he's a liar. I told you he's a liar. I told you he's a liar. I don't care about what he said anymore. He's a liar. I told you that. I just explained to you why we know he's a liar. So yeah, it doesn't matter. Why'd you need to read that to me or tell me what he said when we already told you this guy's a liar? He doesn't have access to Oxford because you have to pay for Oxford. The only thing that Oxford gives you is the Oxford Learner's Dictionary. Do you remember dictionaries when you were in elementary school?
Yeah,
they were really, really basic, right? And didn't really expound very much. They didn't have all the words. They had only the basic words that they thought would be appropriate for people that were in elementary school, maybe up to 7th grade. That's where they would have it, but it didn't have all the things, and it would give a very remedial definition of the words. That's what Oxford Learner's definition is. I'm a grown man. I'm using a word that is properly meant to be used, and we have access to Merriam-Webster. And when you start running away from the dictionary, that's how I know that you're already biased. Because if you can't accept the words from the dictionary, then I know that you're just not going to be honest. And that's exactly what that nigga was doing. But I think you're smarter than that, and you're not going to go appealing to random, obscure, unfounded, or unpaid for paid-wall dictionaries.
I'll try to explain the reason I was mentioning the comment.
I know.
What I was going to say is, just look at your entire YouTube comments.
I don't care about the comments. I'm talking to you.
Huh?
I don't care about the YouTube comments. I'm talking to you.
Okay, I'm just saying, like, if you're the only one saying something and everyone else is saying something else.
Yeah, I don't work that way.
9 times, well, typically no, but 9 times. I mean, not always, but typically yes. 9 times out of 10, it's like
I don't work that way.
It seems like to anyone, unless you're trying to be like the 10 levels of charitable, it seems like anyone who watches that's going to be like, he was trying to like poke fun at the kid, obviously, right?
So listen, I don't subscribe to that thing. There's actually an interview that I just recently did, and someone asked me how my upbringing shaped me. I was raised in a cult. I was raised in a cult that believed that we were literally the only one denomination, the only one church that was going to heaven, and every other religious institution was wrong. I got really comfortable resting on my own, right? Now, I've seen those psychological tests where you can go around a room and you can ask each person something, and a person can know that what they're right, and then they will say the wrong thing because so many people before them said it. I'm not that guy. I could be an entire room of niggas telling me I'm wrong. If I know that I'm right, I'm right. I don't care. I'm not going to be swayed because other people said something. So just appealing to the masses does nothing to me. What you can appeal to is fact, reasoning, definitions, and that's what I just gave you. The definition of what racism is, and that's not racist. I can walk you through the video as it happened and force you to amend what you originally said because what you originally said was incorrect. I can do that. Trying to convince the masses when the masses are going to be justified by talking to other idiots within those masses, that's not going to do anything for me. I'm not talking to the masses. I'm not talking to the other people on YouTube. I'm talking to you. So you right now need to tell me how this is racist. But it seems like already you've walked that back. You agree. It's not racist.
Okay. If you don't want to say racially insensitive, racist, culturally insensitive,
I did say it was I said possibly culturally insensitive. I said that in the video itself that you watched, that you commented on.
What issue did you see anything wrong with that interaction or the apology after? Because it's directly related, right?
I'm not talking about the apology because I didn't study that one, but what I saw in that video, I'll tell you what I saw wrong with that video. It seemed like somebody who didn't recognize that a person was possibly right, because it seemed like he was just making a funny video. But at worst, if I'm going to be I got you. But if I'm going to be as uncharitable as I possibly can be, it's going to be like, it seems like this guy was ignorant enough to say the only Asian word he knew to a Chinese person, assuming that the person was Japanese, and that's as far as you get. Doesn't seem particularly problematic to me.
That explains Konnichiwa, but then the Bing Chong Ching or whatever after that, that's just obviously saying a bunch of random shit you think is Chinese to try to talk to someone, right?
Sure. That part sounded like just not good.
Sounds a little weird, right?
Sure, I'll give you that. That part was weird.
Okay. Well, and you haven't watched the apology video yet?
No, I did, but I just watched it once and it was like, oh, this seems kind of silly and stupid.
Okay, so can I just ask you a side tangent? What do you think about his excuse where he said Bing Chong Ching because his Chinese friend the day before that gave him that as a nickname?
I don't know about that part, but I don't know him, so I don't know if he's a complete.
I mean, listen, I know what he's making up an excuse to try to get out. I don't blame him. If he's getting flamed, he don't deserve to get flamed the way he's getting flamed or called racist or all that shit. It's pretty clear to me what he's trying to do. He's trying to have a shock, edgy moment by being like, weird to a Chinese kid. That's what it seemed like to me. Now, you read it another way, that's fine.
Maybe
I'm not going to
possible, or just making a really fun video, try to say the one Japanese word that he knew to somebody.
Hold up.
Go ahead.
Did you see the Now, to be totally transparent, I saw like a minute of it. I didn't bother going into it. But did you see the Islam thing that he did? I don't know if it was after that or before that. But
no, I did not. I don't know. I don't know his content. But hold on. That's obfuscation, right? I want to talk about the video that we saw, the thing that I made a video about. That's what I'm talking about. Now, there is room for broader conversations, and I'm up for that. right? Afterwards, maybe after I've digested the other stuff. But right now, I got one thing in my head, and it seems really hard for everyone to focus on that. But it's crazy to me because those same people are accusing me of obfuscating. And I'm not trying to be uncharitable or trying to be rude to you here. You can understand, though, for me to be trying to hyper focus on the one thing that we have here and everyone else keep pulling the other stuff, that is by definition obfuscation, right?
Hold on. When I said you were obfuscating, I said obfuscating with definitions.
Right.
Like trying to say, oh, it's not racist, it's culture. Like,
well, that's what people were calling him. That's what people said. So that's the thing I'm attacking. You say he's racist, and I say it can't be racist. You don't know what the word racist means. That's not obfuscation at all. That's just me arguing the thing that you freaking said.
Hold on. Didn't I explicitly say I didn't think he was racist?
Sure, maybe you, but you accused me of trying to obfuscate for trying to tell other people that he's not racist when they called him racist. How's that obfuscation to directly respond to the very label that you're giving him and define the word so you can say that that's not accurate? How's that obfuscation? What does the word obfuscate mean to you?
To try to divert away from the original point to make a new point that's very likely not related to the previous point.
Doesn't have to be making a new point. That would be like a digression. Obfuscation is typically just trying to like divert from like beleaguer the point that the person is trying to make by like clouding. It can be related, can't it? You can just be.
Well, it can be, but I said usually. Usually it's not related. It would be something like jumping to a different, topic or branch off the other topic, or like if you're saying two things that's what I'm saying. Like,
no, that's not true. It's just it's just to cover it up and make it like confusing, right? Like that's what it is. What I just looked up is to throw into shadow, right? Or to confuse, or to be evasive, unclear, or confusing. So it's not about just changing the subject. It's about like, oh well, we'll just like I'll like beleaguer the point that you're making and like ask like nonsensical semantical questions, or maybe just try to get really really pedantic so that the point is not made. That's obfuscation, not just digressing to an entirely different point. And I'm not obfuscating when someone says he's racist and I say that's not what racist means. He's not racist. That's not obfuscating at all. That's directly responding to the accusation that you're going to and showing you the actual definition of the word so as to make sure that you're not still in error. That's not obfuscating at all. I can't imagine being more specific. You said this word and I say he's not this word and here's the definition. It clearly doesn't apply here. That's not obfuscation. No, I don't want to get too lost in the weeds here. So let's just make sure that we establish the points that we're getting at. So that point that I'm making right now, clearly defining the word and saying that the word that you're using is incorrect is not obfuscation, correct?
No, but I think
the
point was he's not saying according to Merriam, or I said that later, I guess, but I don't think he's saying according to the commenter I'm talking about. According to Merriam-Webster, the definition is, I think he was trying to say colloquially we would all look at this and say it's racist, even though you can try to point out how it's not racist because that's not what the definition says, or like people do this all the time, and you know that. Like, he's being racist.
I don't like when people do that. That's why my vocabulary one is so absolutely ridiculous, because I actually look up the words that I'm using pretty freaking regularly, even ones I have a good command over, and I make sure that I communicate absolutely properly so that I don't have to worry about getting into stupid conversations with idiots about what racism means because I just want to say the word because it feels good. First off. Secondly, I think the reason why people use racism so incorrectly all of the time is because oppression appropriation. Everybody else wants to try to take on this mantle of oppression the second they realize that it has some type of benefits, right? It's the same way that Hispanics did it. The second they started recognizing, like, wait a minute, calling yourself a minority is starting to get like some actual attention and some legislation passed. All of a sudden, it's like, oh wait, we're minorities too. Whereas prior to that, they wanted to be white, right? Everybody wants to take on the mantle of oppression the second they feel like it can benefit them. That's how you have white college-age kids talking about we're crazily oppressed. Or you got all these people like just Republicans. Well, I don't have to go into any more examples than that. My point being, yeah, people use racism wrong all the time. And when they do so, I'm going to call them out on it, especially when you're applying it towards black people, considering we're the largest victims of racism, both past and present, whether you count hate crimes or legislation or any other systemic racism. You can see that we are the largest victims of it, and people are just itching for examples or excuses to start trying to label black people that way. They're doing it with the anti-Semitism nonsense. They're doing it with the anti-Asian attacks, all of that. So I'm not with that energy. I can't respect it at all. Don't sit in here and try to label a person racist because that word actually means something. It's disgusting. And anytime we encounter it, it needs to be pointed out as vile and we need to actually respond to it. But when you start using this word, it starts losing its value when you start using this word flippantly as the way they're doing it. This is not racism.
I would 100% agree with you. So what to my, I don't know, I made a few comments on there. So what comment of mine did you take issue with?
Well, the first one where you incorrectly stated that the kid told him he was Japanese and he still said 3 times afterwards, konnichiwa.
Okay.
That one obviously I took issue with. Secondly, when you accused me of obfuscating, which now you've walked back, so we're cool on that one. I think those are the 2 statements that stood out the most to me right there. Or 3, the idea that you just kept saying, like, yeah, man, you're looking so bad for defending this, as if I didn't have valid points.
I still think it's a bad look defending it.
I get you, but I'm always stand on my principles and my morals. I don't care if you think it looks bad, as long as I can say that I'm absolutely accurate, that it's not racist, and every person who's saying it's racist because they won't look bad because everyone else is an idiot and doesn't have actual command of the English language, then they're going to say, yeah, no, it's English, even though I point blank laid it out in my video for everybody who actually wants to listen. You can call it culturally insensitive. I use my words properly. Just let me use the words and listen to them and say, this nigga's right, and just go ahead and use them yourself. Don't use nigga, though. Use culturally insensitive like I did. I'm being silly, bro.
All right. Okay, so it felt like to me reading the comments that it was just like any kind of time you would address what someone said, you would kind of like pick out one little tiny part of the thing, like the 3 times instead of 1 time thing, and then you weren't like offering up any alternative explanations for the weird Bing Chong Ching shit or the weird apology video afterwards.
Because I wasn't commenting on the apology video. That wasn't what my video was about, number 1. And number 2, again, if we're going to be addressing this thing, I should address incorrect statements because that changes the entire context. Do you think that I'd have the same argument? Hold on. Do you think I'd have the same argument if the guy came up to him and said, hey, by the way, I'm Chinese, and then he immediately started saying konnichiwa 3 times and just like belligerently? No, I wouldn't have the same excuse right now. But I have an example instead of a guy who tries to speak to a guy in English. The guy says English no, indicating I don't speak English. So then he says the one Asian word that he knows, konnichiwa, to the guy twice. Then the guy says no. Japanese, Chinese, not Japanese. Then he said finally the last one more time because he was already in the middle of saying the phrase konnichiwa Argentina, right? That's all he was trying to say. He was basically trying to say, yo, why Argentina shirt, right? And sure, like, do I think that he was putting it forth a genuine effort to have a genuine conversation with the guy? Absolutely not. You're talking to a guy that you know doesn't speak English, so then you're just doing that. That's the video. But it seems like everyone wants to obfuscate with everything else. Well, look at his bad apology. How many times did he say it? Look at it. Look, he just has a habit of doing this. He has a pattern. Everything they can do to not deal with the very sentence or the very thing that's happening here and quickly use that label racism. Find me. But look, since you're saying my comments were just being nitpicky and all that nonsense, find me a nitpicky comment. Find me one. They're still there. I haven't edited a single freaking comment, and I've replied to almost everybody in that video as I said I would in my video. Find me one, please.
Did I say nitpicky, or did I say you were trying to concentrate? Like, because in the comment section, you didn't address the main weird things about it, not one time.
You wouldn't use the word nitpicky because obviously that's like my vocabulary, right? But what you did say was that I just try to focus on any one small detail, which is literally nitpicking, right?
Right.
Right. So that's what you said that I was doing, and I didn't. So then I need you to find me a comment where I focus on one tiny little detail.
Jesus Christ, I'm sitting here trying to look through all these messages.
I know you're gonna be looking. I don't. It's not that many comments, but I know you're gonna be looking. Unless you're gonna be as honest as you have been thus far in this conversation, you're gonna be looking a long time because I never did that. I addressed the things that people were saying.
I'm just trying to look at where each time you responded to, because I
responded to everyone as I told them I would do.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's a few, like I commented on a few different threads in here, so I'm trying to figure out which. You left out the part where he asked him first a direct question, and the guy speaking English. You said, yeah,
that was not nitpicky. I mean, the guy literally tried to change. Read it. Basically, go ahead.
Read your thing or my.
Read either one. Read either one. I promise you, I'm not nitpicking. Go ahead. Read the thing that you said, and then go ahead and read my response and tell me if I'm nitpicking or just holding you to task for trying to obfuscate the story or trying to distort what actually happened in order to make the story worse. Go ahead.
So instead of reading out the big long thing I wrote, I'll just say I summarized everything he said it the interaction from beginning to end, and then you said you left out the part where he first asked him a direct question. Then the guy says he doesn't speak English, so he tries to say a Japanese word. So it's not racist.
Yeah.
That's you leaving out context to try to make it sound worse or sound bad.
Absolutely. Because what you said was, because you didn't just lay out everything that happened. What you said was he just went up to a random Asian person and started yelling konnichiwa in his face. That's what you said.
No.
That's literally what you said. Do we need to find the comment? Read it.
I'll read it to you right now.
But you know what? This is the comment that you edited.
No, it's not. I'm going from the top. I don't know where you're at. I'm going from the top of the thread that Landon Stewart started. Bruh, how can you say Aisha wasn't racist? He literally said Bing Chong Ching. That's literally him being. That's the thing. And then you said, so something in these actions means that Aisha Speed believes Asian people are inferior.
Here, I'll read it. No, I'm sorry. You didn't edit it. It's still there. Bro, just stop. I'm sorry. I read it. This is you. Bro, just stop. Yeah. You look crazy defending this. I will break the situation down in full. In full, right? It starts with, and then you don't write. I'm sorry. Let me just quote it. In full, ellipses. Speed calls the Asian kid over, yells konnichiwa at him. Now, if you think Speed was just trying to be, stop. Is that what happened? Well, do you understand? Do you understand? Hold on. Do you not understand that if he just called a random Asian kid over there and just started yelling konnichiwa at him, that I probably wouldn't have this argument right now, right?
Yeah, but we both know, like...
The context is totally different. Now, I'm sorry, you want me to give you some sort of special treatment when you see how frequently everyone is trying their best to distort this image. Pulling in the apology, lying about how many times he said whatever. No, it's not just about being specific. You left out the entire context. You left out the context.
Well, no. None of that context mattered. The beginning part didn't matter to anything I was arguing about.
Okay, well, obviously that context matters because for some people, just him yelling, because some people have literally said he just yelling konnichiwa at a random Asian kid. That's what a lot of people are saying, and you're one of them too. Now, if you want me to be charitable, and just pretend for some reason that that you were just shorthand. You were just shorthand, even though you wrote me an essay. You wrote an essay, but you were just shorthand and left out the viable context here. I'm sorry. Look. It really boils down.
I left out the context that I didn't think was relevant.
Okay, I'm sorry. It really boils down to this. Obviously, any person listening to this conversation can see that context was relevant. Number one. Number two. Obviously,
explain how.
Because there's okay. I'm sorry. Here, let me just break it down to you. Do you think there is a difference between me pulling a Asian person over there and trying to speak to them and them saying they don't know Spanish? I mean, they don't know English, and me saying konnichiwa to them twice? Or do you think it would be different if I just went up to a random Asian person and just started yelling konnichiwa? Do you think that those two things are different at all? Or no?
Of course it's different, but
right. That's why the context makes it different. You're asking the question, how is the context different, as if it isn't painfully obvious. Yes, it's obvious that the context would be different, and you left out that context.
Left out the context of him saying, come over here, why are you wearing an Argentina shirt? None of that had to do with the racist shit, though. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, yes, it's different if he just pulled the kid over and started yelling konnichiwa. We all saw the video.
So if none of this had anything to do with it, why did you include it?
I didn't include it.
You did. You included he yelled in the kid's face.
No. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about where he called him over and said, "Are you an Argentina fan or whatever?" And then the kid said,
"No." I'm saying if this part wasn't relevant, why did you include it in your message? You said I would break the situation down in full. Then you mentioned Speed calls the Asian kid over and yells konnichiwa. Why did you include that portion if it wasn't relevant or pertinent to the part you thought was problem? Hold on. The question. Don't say no. I'm asking you a poignant question. It seems like you're ready to answer while not understanding the question I'm asking you. So again, why did you include that specific portion into the message if you didn't think it was relevant to the racism claim?
Wait, are you talking about the konnichiwa part?
Yes. Why? I'm sorry, I have it highlighted. I'll read it. Here's the part that you said. You said I'll break this part down in full. Speed calls the Asian kid over and yells konnichiwa. Why did you include that in the message if it wasn't pertinent to the racism?
It is. I've been trying to tell you this for 5 minutes. You just keep saying. I'm talking about the first part wasn't pertinent to it, where he calls him over and says, "Are you?"
So why would he? So then, if that part is pertinent to the racism, then do you not think that the context that I just talked to you about, that would have obviously preceded this part, would have shed some light on this, that would either sway someone's opinion about him being racist or not? Do you not think that the context would matter here?
The only part of that first thing that matters is that he said, well, no, because he said not English even after that.
So now you're walking it back. You just said that context would make things differently, and now you're trying to deny that context changes it at all.
The beginning of it, where he pulls him over and says Argentina, which is the part I left out. I started from where he says Konnichiwa. What before that mattered?
Okay, I'll tell you what matters before that. What matters first, right? What matters first, and now we already did, and you already agreed to it. What mattered first was that he first tried to speak to him in English, and then was told that he didn't speak English, and then that's when he switched to the Asian language. That's the context.
He was trying to talk to him in Japanese. Is why he said Konnichiwa.
What else do you think he was saying it for?
Oh my God! You think he was trying to have he knows one Japanese word, and you think he just wanted to say hi?
What else do you think he was? What else do you think he was saying it for?
I think he was trying to get a dunk on him, and you do too. You're just
not a dunk. What's a dunk about Konnichiwa? Bro, it's 10 o'clock. Are you sleepy?
How you could read that any other way?
Are you sleepy, bro?
Huh?
You gotta be. I think you're tired. You're sleepy. You have to be. I'm sorry. Saying konnichiwa to an Asian person is a dunk.
You gotta, again, the context of who Speed is. Maybe you don't know him. Maybe you do.
No. There you go. There's the obfuscation. I'm not about to extrapolate from something else. We're talking about this video.
Don't matter what you're saying. The person who's saying it don't matter is what you're saying right now.
What I'm saying is that I'm judging the action for the action's sake, and of course you want to try to look to all other extra information, all other extraneous nonsense to make your point. As I said, it seems like every last one of you guys goes to whatever extraneous things you can because you know that the argument in and of itself isn't bad enough. That's why you lied originally and said, oh, he said he was Japanese first 3 times. I kept saying it over and over and over again. Y'all keep going and adding details or lying or changing stuff to try to make it sound bad because the situation isn't bad enough in and of itself. And it seems like here we are again, and you're doing the same thing.
Okay, so I still you still haven't explained to me what part of so the first part of it
I already explained it.
Left out. Hold on. That I left out to be nefarious, I guess, is what you think. Is the part where he told him he don't speak English. That's what was relevant in the beginning. But he says that again after that anyway, though.
As I've said before.
Again, and he still says Konnichiwa again after that. How is that relevant?
As we already walked through that. As I said before, it's so not...
He was right in the middle of saying it, right?
As I said, I that's what I already said. It's so not racist that you're leaving out context to try to make it sound bad because you realize it doesn't sound bad enough on its own. And now you're doing the same thing. Well, let's talk about the apology video. Nope, because it don't sound bad enough on its own. Well, let's talk about the character of the man, right? Because it doesn't sound bad enough on its own. And that's exactly what you're doing here.
If you strip all context away from it, it's not terrible. You're right. If you strip the person away, the video afterwards.
Yeah, I'm not about to argue the entire personage of Speed. I'm not doing that. Because if you're not going to be honest enough about this situation, I'm not doing that. I'm sorry.
I think I've been pretty honest about it.
You've been more honest than 99% of people on the internet. I'll give you that. Still dishonest in some ways, though.
So the rest of the comment, okay, fine. I left out the very first part of the interaction where he says, I don't speak English. So therefore saying konnichiwa in that context is slightly better. What other part of this comment did you have an issue with?
Okay, so you did leave out context that would obviously make the situation better.
Yeah,
even if you want to minimize it or try to diminish it by saying slightly, you and I both know that context makes the situation entirely different, and you originally left that out. And why would you do that? Because you know the situation isn't racist enough on its own.
Because it wasn't relevant. That's why I left it out. Now we're just gonna disagree whether that's relevant or not.
I got you.
We can go through the rest of the comment if you want.
I don't know what else is there to go through.
Well, the bro, stop! You look crazy defending this comment.
Okay.
So here, let me just summarize. So I responded to a few of these with a big long ass comment, and every time you would just be like, he didn't say it 3 times, he said it once, or like it felt like the main parts of it you weren't addressing them. That was the summary of what I was trying to say earlier about how you're not addressing.
Okay, so look, let's go through this. Bro, stop, you look crazy. That's nothing to address there. I will break down the situation in full. Speed calls the Asian kid over. Well, I'm addressing the fact that you left out the context, right? I think it's pretty obvious he was trying to be rude. Given the rest of the context of the situation, the kid says, I'm Chinese, not Japanese, and then Speed continues to yell konnichiwa a couple more times. He didn't. He only said it one more time.
One more time, yeah.
Because he was already in the middle of saying that, right? Then he randomly says this phrase, or some crazy Chinese-sounding crap, or at least that's apparently how Asian people sound in Speed's mind. Then after all this, his apology. Now, I'm not addressing the apology thing because I told you the video that I made had nothing to do with the apology, right? So then I didn't just nitpick every or whatever out of the whole thing. I addressed the parts in the video which is the video that we're talking about, and I addressed the fact that you left out that information, and then I later on addressed the fact that you lied because you said that he said it multiple times when he didn't say it multiple times. He only said it once because he was already in the middle of saying it because there's 2 people talking at the same time. So I addressed everything that was pertinent to this actual video in my comment. I just didn't address the extraneous obfuscation that you tried to do.
But you didn't address the video. You didn't address my comment. What I was saying is,
no, I addressed your comment when I talked that you left out the context. I addressed your comment when I said you lied and said that he said it 3 times. I addressed your comment. So what do you mean? I just didn't address again I didn't address the portions of your comment that pertained.
Main part.
No. I'm sorry. So are you saying the main point, if you consider the main part of your comment, the extraneous obfuscation that you were referring to, then yeah, I don't care. I'm not going to address the apology videos because my video wasn't about the apology. My video was about the initial video and the initial mischaracterization by all the other white folks that were responding to him. That's the only thing that I was addressing.
Okay. You are trying to pick out little things out of my comment and not address the major parts, like explaining the Bing Chong chick. You already conceded that was weird or whatever. You can call it weird. You can call it whatever you want.
Yeah, it was weird.
Was fucking a very odd thing to do. Okay.
It was an odd thing to do.
Or him obviously lying about it, and you don't want to address that part because that's the apology video afterwards.
Yeah, I'm not addressing that.
Or him saying konnichiwa over and one time after the kid corrected him.
One time in the middle of while the kid corrected him. It was like literally an active live conversation where they were both speaking over each other.
Well, I went back and watched it. It was like he wasn't in the middle of saying it like you said.
That's, I'm sorry. No. So now you're being nitpicky. Sure, maybe it wasn't literally he wasn't already in the middle of speaking, but it's 2 people speaking at the same time. They were literally talking like literally simultaneously. The guy overtalked him and he overtalked the guy, and then he had said it twice. When the guy finally said whatever, and you could see he had already started saying the word, and then he said and then he said it one more time, literally one more time.
So here's what this comment came before the comment you've said that I'm about to say. So what I said is, why are you not addressing the main things in my comment? And then I laid out them 3 things I just said, and then even after that, you still responded to me. You're a liar. He said it 1 time. Rewatch the video. You're pathetic and you're lying to make it sound worse. You even after that still didn't address the things I told you were the main point of my comment.
I'm sorry. Where did you say that? Where did you say that?
Okay, so in the long this is pathetic, just stop comment in the middle of it, I say you're not addressing the main things, and then I say the Bing Chong, the lying video, the konnichiwa, and then even after that, you respond to me later down in the
did address it. Wait. You said the weird comment, the apology video, and the konnichiwa. I did address the konnichiwa. That was one of the 3 points. I didn't address the apology video for the reasons that I just stated to you. It was extraneous, and I'm not dealing with that. Right? So I didn't address.
You addressed one of the 3.
I addressed one of the 2 that if you want to give it that.
Okay, but that's because you're choosing to leave out the apology video.
Of course, I'm choosing to leave out the apology video because I just made an entire video. You watched it, and never in that video did I mention anything about the apology video, did I?
Yeah, but this is not just the comments I'm leaving here are not just only relegated to your video. I mean, there's more that happened around the story than just what you.
Well, that's the parts that I'm addressing.
Video.
That's the part I'm addressing. I'm in the comment section of my video, and in the comment section of my video, I'm addressing the things that I talked about in my video.
Was this the original title to the video? I Show Speed Isn't Racist. Fanatiq Reacts.
Yeah.
It wasn't, was it?
No. There was something else. What
was it before?
I can find it for you because I changed the title.
I changed. Title might have been one of the
it was
what the fuck?
It was some. Oh gosh, let me see if I can just find it. Maybe. Will they tell me?
Huh?
I don't remember. It was basically something like I show speed in Fanatiq responds to I show speed in Destiny drama or something, something like that, right? Wasn't it like Fanatiq respond? Yeah,
Can I go off on a little bit of a obfuscation here for a second?
Why?
It's just not something
I'll humor it.
combative.
It because you've been honest so far for the most part. Go ahead. What do you got, bro?
How are things with you in Destiny all right, or no?
Why'd you ask that? Dang it. Why did I indulge? I don't like Destiny. I don't like him. I think he's really dishonest.
I kind of got that vibe from your recent content.
That's it. So like I had some issues with Destiny, and then like I went on this thing to talk about Annalicia, and then afterwards like I DM'd him and I told him, like, hey bro, I'm having some mixed feelings about us. I've been working on a hit piece on you for like quite some time now. Like I told him, I told him I had put like 15 hours in, and then and I was like, I would like to talk to you. Maybe we should talk off stream and we could sort this out because you are the person that I admired at some point. Of course, he was like, yeah, we could talk, whatever. But then, I don't know, it seemed like kind of being evasive. And then like I started seeing stuff that he started doing afterwards. And it was like, oh, no, that's it. Like, I'm not joining this nigga's freak show. I'm not going to be part of his nonsense. And then from that point on, it was just like, yeah, I have no intention. I think, no, even after that, I tried one more time. Like, do you want to talk? And then nigga was like, nah. So after that, I was like, yeah, no, I'm done.
Oh, sorry. I was looking at it. Are you arguing with a DDGer? I mean, no, I'm not a DDG. I'm a fan of Destiny. I'm not a DDGer. I don't know if there's a difference there, but
nah, you one of them.
I mean, I'm not.
I'm kidding, bro. I'm kidding. I'm being silly. Listen, I'm not in a particularly serious mood, like fully right now. So you can't take everything I'm saying serious, bro. Like at least I'm taking jabs. Like I don't know you to know that you're one of them. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
But yeah, well, to be fully transparent, I'm a fan of both you guys. But
hey, I appreciate that. And you've been honest for the most part in this conversation. You got some areas where I can tell there's some blind spots, but ultimately, like I felt like you were the way you proposed it. At least you had coherent thoughts, which is why I thought it would be a decent conversation. Why I haven't just like completely gone off the rails and just been a complete douchebag to you. I think I do have some respect for you.
Well, this is the first time I ever talked on Discord to someone that I watch pretty regularly. So hopefully it wasn't too crazy, too bad.
No, it was a decent conversation. I mean, obviously,
I still disagree with you mostly, but I mean,
it's cool. But as long as you walk back the fact that it was racist, and you walk back the fact that
I didn't ever said that though.
You did. You walked it back, bro.
Wait, hold on. Where did I say he was racist at? That's what I was trying to get you to answer earlier. I said that. I don't think I did. I mean,
it seems like you were attacking me because look in this comment, bruh. How can you say Aisho wasn't racist? He literally just said whatever yada yada. That's literally him being racist. We black people can do better than that. I said, and I explained what I said.
I said that?
No, that's what someone else said. And then and then your response to that is, bro, you sound crazy defending this. Let's look at my defense really quickly, okay? So something in these actions means that I show speed believes Asian people are inferior because that's what racist means. And I don't know how you get that. So the only thing I'm addressing here is the fact that he called him racist. And you keep challenging me saying, stop, you look crazy defending this. And my whole defense on like the vast majority of these things are he's not racist. Hell, when I changed the title, it's that I Show Speed Isn't Racist, which was literally the title that I was supposed to be doing before I went live. The first one was a working title. And my friend was whatever. So that all of my comments are about him being racist and people lying. Okay. So
just to be clear, I wasn't like, that comment wasn't directly relating to your "so something in these actions" comment. It was just like about the overall video and conversation. I wasn't like responding to him specifically or that specific comment that you had about "so something in these actions" means I show speed is. I wasn't saying like why are you defending in that way, like about that specific thing. I was just saying like overall why defend the actions, not.
Okay, well that's fair. I think the defense is warranted when people start going so far as to call him racist for those actions, which you and I both know he's not racist for these actions. So then if that's the case, I think a defense is warranted. If you want to go ahead and skewer him for something else that maybe is appropriate, like then you can go ahead and do that. Like if you want to say, hey, he's lying in that apology video, I'm not committing to that. I'm just saying it. If you wanted to say it, you can make that claim. That's your opinion, right? But there's a difference between that opinion, right, and your belief, and then saying that someone is racist. And I think that's where I took issue. You still there? Did I scare you away? Dang, that's how y'all know I'm a real nigga.
Hello? Oh.
Dang, I was about to pop off.
Oh, hello?
Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah, I see. You said
I got a phone call, and I didn't even know I was still in the Discord. I had to go back into the Discord app for it to connect me back to you. So
yeah, well, look, ultimately.
Wait, did I miss something? Did something happen?
No. I forget what I just said. I'm sorry, bro. I'm tired.
Oh, you said you're about to pop. I was like, what?
I was about to pop off because you just got quiet, and I was about to be like, yeah, that's right. I own these conversations. And he disconnected, but I was just being silly.
Oh no. My dad called me on Facebook Messenger. So.
Oh yeah, you're good. Yo, look, I show speed ain't racist, okay?
I agree.
All right, then we found the common ground. You probably shouldn't have said that weird phrase, okay? I'll admit.
Yeah,
that was weird. I didn't like it, but it was very funny.
I mean, a lot of fucked up shit is. But
that's true. I got a bad sense of humor.
I mean, I'm not like the joke police or nothing here. Honestly, yes, it was funny, but it's like at the same time you got to realize that it's a little weird looking from the outside looking.
Very culturally insensitive.
All right, I'm gonna get to sleep. Thanks for talking, man.
Thank you for actually being rational for the most part and not being a complete douchebag. Like you were actually really, and I'm not saying that sarcastically. 99.99% of the people who you actually talk to from YouTube comments are
a lot
crazy.
Of heat in the comments.
Of course, but you were like, I couldn't have expected this to go any better. I appreciate you, legitimately.
Well, I know you live for this shit, so
yeah, for sure.
All right, buddy.
All right, peace.